So not only did producer Lindsley Parsons have the temerity to make a 68-minute version of Crime and Punishment, he decided the best option for feeding it to American audiences in the aftermath of World War II was to pull the old "it's all been a dream" card out of his sleeve, a trope that got quite a workout in films of this period. I won't cite them by name because I wouldn't want to spoil anything for viewers who haven't yet been disappointed by the cop-out endings on those films. You'll know them when you see them. To be fair, these "it's all been a dream" endings are part of what make movies such an ingenious magic trick. Fyodor Dostoevsky, just back from exile in Siberia, didn't toil in isolation through long Russian winters writing some of the great works of world literature to wind it up with, don't worry, he just imagined it all. Nobody could bear that after committing to 600 pages of existential angst and misery. But at the Grand Lake Theater in 1946, Crime and Punishment as a quick little card trick fit the bill, the bottom half of a double bill to be precise, following, say, The Postman Always Rings Twice. The character of Raskolnikov, Larry Crane, was played by Peter Cookson. He made a lot of B movies between 1944 and 46, but suddenly left Hollywood for the New York stage, the reverse of how these things usually happen. In 1947, he was cast as the male lead, Morris Townsend, in the Broadway version of The Heiress, opposite Beatrice Straight, the roles Montgomery Clift and Olivia de Havilland would play in the 1949 film version. Cookson and Straight fell in love, got married, and remained together until Cookson's death in 1990. Both actors were founding members of the legendary Actors Studio. You didn't expect that, did you? Fans of pre-code movies are certainly familiar with Warren William, who played Inspector Burke. In the early days of talking pictures, William became a major star, typically playing cads and reprehensible businessmen, staple characters in Depression-era movies. But he wasn't a villain exclusively. William took over the role of Detective Philo Vance from William Powell in a series of 1930s pictures, and in another series, he was the first actor to portray Earl Stanley Gardner's famous detective attorney, Perry Mason. Warren William was such a fixture on screens in the early 30s, he was later dubbed the King of Pre-Code. Now, in the 40s, he portrayed the Lone Wolf in the Columbia Pictures Mystery Adventure series. And in addition, he was a renowned inventor who preferred creating gadgets in his home workshop to living the Hollywood high life. What's he building in there? William held patents on a number of inventions, including a lawnmower vacuum that would become an industry standard. Fear was the actor's penultimate film. After making The Private Affairs of Bellamy in 1947, he died of multiple myeloma at only 53 years of age. Seems young, but as Joan Blondell, one of his pre-code co-stars, said, Warren William was an old man, even when he was a young man. Anne Gwynn, who played what turned out to be the dual role of Eileen and Kathy, was a one-time swimsuit model from Waco, Texas, who broke into pictures in the 1930s. She became a fixture at Universal, starring in a long string of Western and horror films. Thanks to pictures like Black Friday and House of Frankenstein, she became known as one of the screen's first scream queens. She's also the grandmother of contemporary actor Chris Pine, who, in addition to starring in big hits like Star Trek and Wonder Woman, gave a fantastic performance in 2016's excellent neo-noir Hell or High Water. He inherited more than just Grandma's good looks. Next week on Noir Alley, I'll be showing one of the most famous noir films of the 1950s, Mickey Spillane's Kiss Me Deadly. And I'll be joined by a special guest, Max Allan Collins, the man who Spillane himself chose to finish his incomplete manuscripts. Max is a tremendous writer of his own crime fiction as well, like Road to Perdition, which director Sam Mendes turned into a terrific movie with Tom Hanks and Paul Newman. Max knows more about the history of mystery fiction than I do, and you'll definitely enjoy his insights into Mickey Spillane and the classic film made from one of his most famous books. Now I'm going to go see what's playing on the top half of today's double bill. See you next week.